How you guys doing? It's 5 and 4 Mystic from Bookie Bullies, and in this video, I'll be talking about the top 5 things to look out for in this upcoming NHL season. Now, before I go ahead and with this video, I'd love for you guys to go ahead and smash that like button, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're posted anytime I post videos like these. Now, as some of you may know, if you do follow me or you are subscribed, then you know that I make most of my bank off of the NHL. I love the NBA and I love making bank off of the NBA, as well as a lot of different sports betting. But as far as it goes, when it comes to success rate, I actually do the best in NHL, and this is spanning over the last 5 years where I've actually been taking sports betting very seriously. With that said, this upcoming NHL season is going to have a 56 game schedule, and there's going to be a lot of craziness happening. So with 56 games ending on May 6th, we are looking at a lot of different things that might be able to affect not only gameplay, but affect how we bet in the sports betting business. So starting from the top, the number five thing that we're going to have to look out for is there's no preseason. With no preseason, that basically means that we don't get a chance to see players and new additions basically gel together. So there's no gelling, there's no coaches adjustments, there's no sets that they're going to be able to run, there's no actual physicality, a real life physicality that they're going to be able to put to the test. Unfortunately, for all these teams, this is going to be a big problem. So no preseason for anybody. This is a major factor. So we're trying out a whole new division system because the Canadians, we basically have a no entry policy for Americans or anybody for that matter. So because of this reason, it's going to be a big deal to have the different divisions and all this other stuff. But the no preseason is playing a big factor in all of this when it comes to actually playing real life games. The fourth thing that we're going to have to look out for is the new additions, like I said. So a lot of these players are going to be playing on new teams. The teams are going to have new looks, and it's going to be a burden on a lot of different people. The biggest burden is going to be the coaching staff, because they're not going to be able to make adjustments, come up with different sets, and figure out who's going to play on which lines and which players play best on which lines together. Remember, hockey is not a 5-man sport. You're dealing with 6 men on the ice at once. And on top of it, you're actually dealing with a bunch of different lines that span over about 90 seconds. You get 90 seconds of really tough, rugged play. Then you switch on to another line and different things to that effect. So it's going to be hard for coaches to determine which players are best for the penalty kill, which players are going to be best for power plays, and who's basically going to be your fast line and all this. It's basically going to be madness and pure anarchy when it comes to this. When it comes to having new additions and stuff on their team. So look out for that when it comes to teams who have new players coming into their roster. The third thing that you're going to have to look out for is no fans. Contrary to the NBA, the NHL doesn't have much time for trash talk. Now, mind you, all sports have room for trash talking. When you get a dead puck, or if you get a dead ball, or whatever the case is, you get the one-on-one time where you'd be able to speak to the person that you're playing and tell them that they can't guard you or tell them what you're going to do. But you don't have the intensity that you have in the NBA, where you're in your face on possessions for 24 seconds at a time. There's different zones in the NHL in that you have the neutral zone, you have the offensive zone, and you have the defensive zone, depending on which side you're playing on. In this case, none of these players really have a chance to increase their intensity by smack talking, because they spend so much of their time breathing while skating. And remember, they're on 90-second spurts when it comes to these lineups. So it's going to be a big deal to have no fans in the arena. Now, some of these teams are working on having a system where they're going to be able to allow some fans and have a capacity, but that's really going to be restricted to a certain amount of teams. And even that, it's not going to be able to help the teams when it comes to intensity. So they're going to have to find that intrinsically. That's going to be a big deal for these guys. So they're not going to have much motivation to actually get wins or to get like, let's say a team goes down 3-0 in the first period. Usually the crowd powers you up to give you that burst of energy that you need to come back in the game. Without that crowd, that 3-0 lead could easily turn into 10-0. So look out for that. You know, last season, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you know I have a lot of in plays that I give out. And without crowd, without fan intensity, without the fan presence, those 3-0s and those in plays that you guys love so much, we're not going to be able to capitalize on them. Number two, the coronavirus. The coronavirus is a big deal for all sports all across because it could cause us to be postponed. It could cause a game to be delayed. It could cause a team to be at a disadvantage because they're losing a bulk of their players, not only to actual coronavirus, but to contact tracing because this is such a big deal in today's sports. In the plus side, the NHL has come up with a system where they're going to be having something that they're calling a taxi squad. On this taxi squad, you're going to have a minimum of 4 players, including one goalie, and up to 6, a maximum of 6 players. So in case of any COVID-19 breakout or any contact tracing, you're going to be able to summon this taxi squad who's going to be able to give you good minutes and be able to compensate for the guys that you're actually missing. So this is going to be comprised of, like I said, either 2 defensemen, 2 offensive men, and a goalie, or however it is they see that they have their need. And the number one thing that I think is going to be a big factor in this NHL season is going to be the goalies. Because let's face it, the goalies are the biggest deal on any given night when it comes to hockey. The best goalie typically wins. As long as he's being protected by a good defense, the best goalie typically wins. In this case, you're going to have goalies who are splitting the duties. So you're going to have main goalies, the top stars, the guys who you know are great. They're not going to be playing 60 or 70% of the games. They're going to be playing 50% of the games. 50% of the games because of the compressed schedule. This compressed schedule is going to cause people to have 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in a week. It's maybe 5 games in a 7-day or 8-day stretch. It's going to be pure madness. You can't depend on any one goalie to take a bulk of the load. So you're going to have a lot of goalies who are going to be splitting the workload. That's going to cause problems, not for the goalies themselves, but for the teams, because typically you're depending on your star goalie to get you the W, to secure you shots on goal, and to avoid getting actual goals scored on you. And in this case, not having your star goalie on a regular basis is not only going to harm you because obviously you can't use him too often, but it's going to harm the other teams as well. So everybody's going to be at a disadvantage. So you're going to have to look out for that. Just to put it into perspective, if you're, let's say, the Montreal Canadiens and you have Carey Price as your main goalie, obviously Carey Price gets a lot of money and he wasn't really the most impressive goalie last season. But now with Jake Allen in the lineup, typically, Carey Price will be playing maybe 65% of the games, but with this compressed schedule, you're going to have Carey Price playing 50% of the games, splitting them down the middle with Jake Allen, giving Jake Allen, who really wasn't that impressive at all. If we're going to talk about Carey Price not being that great, Jake Allen wasn't especially impressive last season either, but he did start. So, with all that said, it's going to be a little bit tight when it comes to goalie-wise. So those are my top 5 things to look out for in this upcoming NHL season. If you guys have any other things that you'd like to look out for, feel free to hit up the comment section. Let me know how you feel. And again, I'll tell you like I tell you all the time, please do not bet what you can't afford to lose. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So on that note, I'm going to leave you guys until next time. So be safe, be good, peace out.